Hi, I'm Tom D. This is the video from the series of videos about AI and Elasticsearch. How you can use artificial intelligence, called simply AI, with Elasticsearch cluster. In this particular video I want to show you how to run named entity recognition. So you can parse piece of the sentence and recognize the objects and classify them at the same time. Let's start. I'm logging in the Linux operating system. The first thing you have to check is if service Docker is up and running, because in this video I want to show you examples using Docker. Okay, it's up and running, so you can use it. Docker network create elk AI. Docker network list. Okay, I created this network and I will be using that network to logically separate the containers that will be part of this tutorial. The first command is to start Elasticsearch. You have a name of the container that can be anything. In this case, I use the name elk, the network that you already created. These are heap size parameter because Elasticsearch is Java process, so it's using heap memory management, and therefore you can specify how much you want to assign to this process. Basically 26 gigabytes per node is a maximum due to multiple reasons. So machine you have for AI processing should be big enough. The recommendation said about at least 16 gigabytes of the memory. Here I have 8 gigabytes only of the memory, whereas here from this 8 gigabytes, 4 gigabytes I'm assigning to Elasticsearch, and for that particular tutorial it is enough. Expect license self-generated type as trial, because this is part of paid functionality in Elasticsearch, and therefore the basic license, if you type here basic, or if you omit that line, it will be automatically basic license. -d because I want to run it as a daemon in background and port forwarding, so later on I can curl to that Elasticsearch and perform some API calls. This is the latest one, 8.15. Let's start. Docker container is up and running, so I can set up the password because I want to connect later on to this Elasticsearch cluster, and therefore I need to have login and password. For that there is one-liner command. Basically it's using this Elasticsearch reset password utility, and it set up the password for Elastic user. Elastic is super user that has most of the privileges, and here there is a password 1 2 3 4 5 6. There's an example password. Your password can be different, of course. Run it and there will be confirmation that password for Elastic user successfully reset. So we are done with this part. Now there is a time for model to be loaded. Elastic provides Docker image called eland. This is Python client that uploading the model from Hugging Face repository into Elasticsearch. Here is a link. As you can see, the Elastic user is mentioned over there and Elasticsearch password. Instead of username and password, you can use one-time token, no problem with that. And there is a hub model ID. This is the model that you can find out in the Hugging Face repository. This is name entity recognition model, so that's the task type. And start command. Let's start it. Model successfully imported with ID. Now you can start inferring the model. This is the inference phase using the API _ML machine learning train models and this ID that was printed out just a second ago. This is the name of the model that is there in Elasticsearch. So we can get the information about this model. You can see the license level is platinum. That's why we started trial version of Elasticsearch here. There's a description, all this metadata that you can read if you like. Now you see that there is an index connected to that particular model in Elasticsearch. So this is an index in Elasticsearch. Now if you want to use that model, there is API _machine learning ML train models Elastic, the name of the model, and infer API call. Now as a content type application JSON and JSON document. This is important to remember, and it depends on the response from the previous. If you see here, the input field names is a text field for that model. Therefore in your example document you will use that exact string. So if you want to infer the model, you need to use exactly the same string for the docs, the text field. And here is a statement, you can edit it as well. and send this request. As a result, you can see that model recognizes two different entities. Because it's an English model, probably doesn't recognize that Monica is a name. So for Peter, it named it as a class name person, and for Monica is Misk. So if I change the Monica to English name, okay, it doesn't recognize the Monica right now. That's the quality of the model, right? How it recognizes the things. Right, it doesn't recognize the boss as the entity. Even the John is not recognized. Okay, now it works. But yeah, this is the discussion about the model itself. But here you can see that you have a results using the API call. It recognized two entities. Now both of them are having the class name, the category as person, with quite high probability. Now I want to show you how to do exactly the same in Kibana. There is an enroll Kibana utility, so you connect to Elasticsearch and there is underscore security, enroll and Kibana. This basically I'm getting the response. You can display that response JSON. It contains the token value for Kibana and certificate authority for HTTP connections. This is base64 encoded certificate. So now I will save that HTTP certificate authority value under the HTTP_CA variable. I'm using jQuery to extract from JSON this field. And I will save the Kibana token under Kibana token variable. Now using the echo, I'm sending that variable into the file HTTP_CA certificate. So later on I can use it to connect to Elasticsearch. So Kibana can use that certificate to connect to Elasticsearch. And here is a comment. As you can see, I'm using certificate for verification mode, this Kibana token saved under variable, and this created certificate. I'm mounting it here, the file, local file, I'm mounting under the /location/directory in the container. Kibana version must be the same as Elasticsearch. Kibana is started. I can check it right away. That I have two containers right now, Kibana and Elasticsearch. So here is a Kibana and I can log in using this Elastic and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exactly the same password that is for Elasticsearch. We can explore on my own. And here you can type ML machine learning. In this machine learning overview, you can see the nodes and total memory that is used. Machine learning memory, machine memory, which is off heap, and max JVM size, which is the heap size that I specified. Allocated train models. You can see that this model that you deployed has a size of 1 GB, and you have also inference count. So this count will increase if I will ask model again. What we need to do, you need to go to the model management on the left corner here, model management, and click on trained models. On the list, you can see that the model that you deployed has a status deployed and has this type of NER, which is name entity recognition. Now you have an option to test the model. So you can type any text, for example, the same. In New York. And click on test. As you can see, the entity Peter, type person, is going to the office in New York, which is type location. Additionally, Kibana is parsing that output and present the icons for you. So type location and type person is more clear for the human. So in this way, you have learned how to deploy the model to Elasticsearch, how to test it using the API calls with a curl command and how to test it using Kibana.